me and George, we went out to France and Belgium, and there's so much on World War I out there, you know. As we looked at memorials, museums, some preserved trenches that we actually walked through, and I look back on that trip now, and it was really, I gained so much from that, and it definitely gave us all this sense, an idea of what it was all about to be. And I also read a book called The Western Front Diaries, and it's just snippets of soldiers' diaries in this book. And actually my great-granddad he had a diary entry in that book, and he talked a little bit about how he went into no man's land and he got shot through the hip and he was paralysed, and he laid out there for 4 days and survived. So I read that book pretty much every day before I walked onto set, just to sort of get me in the, you know, the zone. This film is being shot, you know, all one camera, and every scene is one long take. And as an actor, that is such a privilege and really an advantage, because it really allows you to just throw yourself into the scene. And there were so many scenes that I just completely got lost in. And when they'd call cut, I would completely forget who I was. And I was Blake, you know, and there were scenes that sometimes were 6 minutes long, you know, and doing that was a real honour, and I learnt so much about the character, about me, and a lot about filmmaking. Blake is a Lance Corporal. He hasn't had much experience with war at all. He's only recently just been deployed there. And he has a friend, Schofield, and one day, the point where our story starts off is they get sent on a mission to deliver a message to stop an attack on the Germans. And it's not just a mission to Blake, it's more of a personal mission, because his brother is a part of the attack and he doesn't want to lose his brother. And Blake, throughout the whole film, is constantly reminded about his family and his brother and missing home, and his desperation keeps him fighting on throughout the whole film. And they get into these terrible, scary situations in World War I that every 2 seconds they don't know what's around the corner. Schofield, like Blake, is a Lance Corporal, but unlike Blake, he's had way more experience in war. Schofield has a wound stripe on his arm, and which represents that he's already been to a battle and been injured and wounded, and then he came back after recovering. So he's already seen stuff and already knows what's over the other side of the trench. Unlike Blake, he doesn't have a clue. I've loved working with George. Me and George, we've been through so much on this film together. The ups, the downs, the hard work, you know, tears and everything you can imagine. And it really did feel like a teamwork, this film. I never once thought that I was on my own at all with any of it. And every scene I had with George, I've learnt so much from him as an actor and as a person, and just being able to watch him in the scene was honestly beautiful. And George has honestly thrown himself, you know, 100% into this role, into this film. And watching him go from the start, you know, to the end of the film is just, I honestly have to take my hat off to him. And I do love him to pieces, and he's helped me through everything. Roger Deakins, to be able to work with him and say that I've even just met the man is a big deal. Again, what he's done with this film is really beautiful, and you know, some of the camera work has just blew my mind. Things I didn't even realise were possible. You know, and this, you know, if you like filmmaking, if you're into seeing, you know, films becoming what they are, this film is for that. You know, and there's scenes like in No Man's Land, you know, there's big cranes and there's wire going in the sky and the camera's attached to this wire, and then suddenly it goes low to the floor, following me and George in No Man's Land, and then two grips just easily take it off and walk with it, and then they hook it back on, and then Blake and Schofield climb down this crater in No Man's Land, and then it flies down, and it's just constantly smoothly flying. And then I remember getting to see the plate shot, so like all the actors are standing in the way and the camera just does its job. And it was beautiful. It really is amazing and clever, and Roger is the man. I hope audience enjoy the film, obviously, and I hope it teaches people, just like it's taught me, about World War One. People that don't know a lot about World War One, I hope it gives them a good insight. I hope it teaches them about the sort of generation they were, and to keep their memory and to never forget these soldiers, because, you know, they really did fight for us.